Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Aston Williams coming to you again with another dope podcast episode of the Melanated Traveler. I got a special guest in the building, but before we get started, first and foremost, y'all already know the purpose of this show, man, is to really inspire the African diaspora and other minorities to travel the world, to share travel stories, ideas, tips with amazing content creators, travel influencers, and entrepreneurs from all around the world. Our stories made by us and for us. So again, I want to welcome you to the show. Before we get started, also I want to say I really do appreciate the sponsor for the day. So the sponsor of this episode today is Link.me. For those that are getting tired, nothing against Linktree, but for those that are getting tired of seeing just this regular website where people click on it and you have multiple links, check out Link.me. It's a social platform. It's completely free. The link is going to be in the show notes. It's also going to be in the description of the YouTube video for y'all to check out. It's pretty much is more of a social profile. So the icons are better. Is more fluid. Yes, they have stackable ways for you to stack it, but you have a lot more customization that you don't have to pay for. So shout out to Link.me for sponsoring this episode. So without further ado, I have the presence of being with the amazing guest, Meeka, aka the Wandering Afro. I'm not even gonna destroy your last name because my mind just went blank. So I say, you know what? Let me just Meeka, aka the Wandering Afro. How you doing today, Queen?
I'm doing so good. I'm so
Can
happy
you
to be.
pronounce your last name? Cause I was about to destroy it.
Yes, my name is Meeka AheVonderae. It looks really long, but it's really easy. Meeka AheVonderae.
All right, got you. Y'all heard it here first. So I just want to give this queen the credit that is due. First and foremost, for y'all that don't know, is her content is absolutely amazing. Um, what really drew me to her page when I first was like, once you get on Instagram and you like a few things or you in a certain niche, you start to pick up on a few things, and her profile would always come up. Not only was the underwater picture, I think in Mexico was absolutely amazing. Then you'll see her in the ocean. We're gonna talk about some of your love for the ocean as well. But I just want to give you your flowers, man. Your content is absolutely amazing. So I just want to give y'all a quick bio on our guest. She's a travel writer and entrepreneur from New York City, NYC. She's the owner of the Wandering Afro, a blog that explores magical travel destinations. Destinations like castles, museums, and also historic sites. And also, we're going to talk about some countries that a lot of people haven't had on their list. She's also a certified scuba diver. Actually, she's the second person on the show that's a certified scuba diver. We're going to dive into that as well. And she considers herself to be a mermaid. We're going to dive into that as well. Her love for the ocean. She's been to over 31 countries, y'all. 31 countries. And she prefers slow travel. And we're going to dive into that as well to see exactly what slow travel is. So without further ado, I want to welcome Miss Meeka, a.k.a. the Wandering Afro, to the Melanated Traveler. Welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm really, really excited to be here. I love what you're doing. Really and truly, I feel like I love your podcast because you're talking about stories that like people don't even realize that there are so many black travelers out there doing dope stuff. I saw you had some podcasts with someone doing van life. You had
Oh,
scuba
yeah.
divers out here. These are like the stories that I want to see. I want this is like so exciting to me, and I'm just happy that you built a platform like this. So
Well, thank you, thank you. I really do appreciate it. I really do appreciate it. It's for y'all, man. It's for y'all that's listening and watching. It's for y'all. And we talked about it outside of the studio before we started recording, but I shared, with the tribe is the fact that we're in the industry that is very underrepresented. Travel is very underrepresented. And what started the show was I was on my way to Costa Rica. Shout out to my homeboy Bolanos. He's doing his thing in Costa Rica. But when I got on the plane, I didn't see people that looked like us. Actually, I was the only person of African descent on the plane, and I'm just like, this not right. And that's what kind of made me start to be a little bit more aggressive with content when it came to travel. And I had some podcast experience in the past. I started a podcast a few years ago. And for those that don't know, um, the way that you can create anything that you want in life is through consistency, and not quitting. The average podcast only lasts 10 episodes, but guys, this is episode 30, and we're gonna keep this train rolling. We're gonna keep it rolling. So I gotta start off. I gotta start off with this. Is I want to know the mindset. I like to learn the mindset to get people to understand like what it takes for you to, you know, start off at that point. Like whether that be we're gonna talk from your childhood. What's some of the things that inspired you to create this type of lifestyle or this type of vision that you wanted for your life to be able to travel? Was this always a thing for you? But what was I guess you can say a epiphany moment in your life, like if you can go back and just say, you know what, this is the moment or this is the time where I decided to say I need to go explore the world.
Honestly, I think it was always inside of me. Like, ever since I was a young child, I wanted to travel. I wanted to just learn about everything. I was just really fascinated by different cultures. And I really mean that. Like, I see a stranger, oh, where are you from? Oh, what do you guys eat? I was always like that. So I think as I got older, I was just like, well, I can do it. I'm going to do it.
Man, that's dope. That's dope. What's the first? Let's start off from the what people call the cherry, man, the cherry, or whatever part of the U.S. that you in. You know what I mean? Whatever that slang is. But what was the first country you ever visited?
My first country was Antigua. My father's Antiguan. My mother's from Louisiana. So my first trip was to Antigua.
Okay, we're gonna dive into Antigua. But first and foremost, let me give a shout out to all my Louisiana natives, especially in South Louisiana. That's the real Louisiana, from New Orleans all the way to Lake Charles.
The
Shout
Lake
out to
Arthur.
my people. Shout out to
Okay.
my people. Shout out to the Cajuns, the Creoles, the French Creoles, the backwoods, the river water Cajuns, man. All those people, man. It's just amazing to see. I love my culture. I love the food. I love everything about the state. So shout out to Louisiana and all the Louisiana natives. Just for a second, and let's dive into Antigua for a second. So with your father being from there, um, what was it like landing there for the first time? How did that feel? Like being outside the U.S. for the first time.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I have been going to Antigua since I was like really, really young. So I don't think like I didn't really have like a big moment as a child.
Mm.
I think it wasn't really until I got older that I realized how much of a blessing it was to be able to go to Antigua.
How what's the signature dish there? I know in Jamaica is we all know what that is. What's like some signature dishes of that country that growing up that was y'all that was the go to in your family as far as food and culinary.
I think definitely fungi and saltfish. That's a very typical Antiguan dish. Fungi and saltfish, fungi and pepper pot, stewed chicken, lobster. There's a lot of similarities. Ducana. There's a lot of similarities. I mean, a lot of the Caribbean have like similar dishes, but we definitely make the best fungi and the best saltfish. So
Oh, y'all heard it. Y'all heard it.
it is what it is.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna have to check it out. Other people that's listening gonna have to check it out. So 31 countries.
Mhm.
How do you go about traveling? Like, how do you find? Are you a person that finds deals? Or are you a person that says, you know what, I want to go here, so I'm just gonna make it happen? How do you go about navigating to finding these countries that you want to visit? And do you have any repeats besides Antigua?
Definitely. So for me, it's usually this is the list of places that I want to visit. I have my checklist, but also if I see a good deal and it's a place that I want to visit, then I'm definitely going there. But usually it's where do I want to go to? What's on my bucket list first? And then
Got
for repeats, yeah, I've done some repeats to Italy. I've been to Senegal a few times. Um, And Mexico, because Mexico's right there, so it's really easy to do. Oh, and Jamaica. I did Jamaica, I think maybe like 3 times.
Believe it or not, I've never been to Mexico. Shout out to
Hey.
shout out to Fly Girl Adventures. I just had her on a few episodes ago, and also shout out to the fearless mommy. She's living in Merida,
Oh,
Mexico, with
okay.
her children. She spent 6 months there, and I think 6 months in the U.S. So shout out to those two as well, man. But I know I never been to Mexico yet, man. I need to tap in this year
You
before the year's out. I need to go down there.
definitely should.
Yeah. So tell me, I mean, can you share like from a from a accommodation standpoint, how do you like to travel? Are you more of a hostel person? Do you like Airbnbs? Do you like, hotels? How do you navigate that? What type of traveler are you when it comes to accommodation?
I'm definitely hotels, boutique hotels. Sometimes I'll do some like unique stays, you know what I mean? Like if I'm in Bali, I'll do like a tree house. You know what I'm saying? Like I'll do some unique
Mhm.
stays, but I'm not doing hostels. I'm in my 30s, I'm not doing hostels. When I was younger, I would do anything. I would do whatever it took. Whatever it took to go on a trip, I'll do it. But now, no, hotels.
The wandering Afro. Where did that name come from? And I'll tell you why I'm asking that. That'll
Okay.
be my next question. But how did you come up with that name?
Um, well, I usually my hair's an afro. Right now it's not. But and then wandering. I mean, I feel like when I'm traveling sometimes I might not really even have a goal. You know what I mean? Like there's not a set goal. I just want to explore and see what's out there. So, just wandering. There was a song and my friend told me that it reminded me of there was a song that was popular and my friend was like, "Oh, Meeka, this is like you." It was what is it? I don't know. Anyway, something about wandering and yeah, so it just fit.
Gotcha. No, it fits you well, and that's the reason why I brought that up. When it comes to you know being a woman of the diaspora and African descent, with you having an afro, a lot of women are getting back to that natural state. They
Mhm.
did have a time where especially in the South, especially in Louisiana. Honestly, what I've seen is, a lot of women would, and nothing against that. Let me just say that disclaimer. Nothing against that. Before I get a million messages, why are you hating? No. But when it comes to like your afro and traveling to these different countries, how how did it make you feel? Maybe going, and we're gonna talk about Africa, but let's talk about maybe a country. Let's talk about maybe a country that didn't have much representation of
Okay.
us, and that how did that feel? Like you went to Bali or you went to Asia, you went to some of these
Mhm.
Asian countries. Did
Mhm.
they try to touch your hair? Did they want to take pictures with you? Like, how was your experience in those type of countries? In
Yeah,
India, India as well.
yeah, that definitely happens. I've noticed, especially in Asian countries, I don't think that they see afros often, so they want to take a picture with you. I don't, me personally, I don't take it as a negative. I can understand why some people do. Um, but yeah, I think they're really intrigued. I mean, as a black woman, I'm so proud of my hair and my texture. You know what I mean? Like this is something unique. Nobody else has this, so I love it. I love wearing my afro out. I had one bad experience and it was in Iceland. A woman asked to touch my hair and I said no, and she got upset. But that's just, she's just not well educated, maybe. I'm not sure.
You
What
don't
was
mess with a disclaimer. You do not mess with a black woman hair. Okay,
at all?
you
Not
don't
at
mess with it, especially if they just got their hair done and it get wet.
exactly. And I
Oh,
don't know where your hands been, it's
yeah,
not.
exactly. So, man, let's shift gears so you went to a place that I feel like a lot of people are not aware of. And I don't want to, again, like I told you in the studio, really centralize our discussions on certain things. But I got to bring up Saudi Arabia.
Okay.
Looking at your stories,
Mm-hmm.
what made that trip come about? How was the experience? And then we're gonna dive into some other things about the country.
So I'm Muslim. It's not very obvious because I don't wear the hijab. But I'm a practicing Muslim. So I went to Saudi Arabia for something that we call Umrah, which is it's a pilgrimage where you go to a holy site. And so yeah, it has like some spiritual it was a spiritual trip for me. And it was amazing. I mean, I really had a great time. I think Saudi is one of those places where a lot of people haven't visited yet, and people really don't know anything about it. You know what I mean? Like, even if you look online, everyone's really just posting the same thing. So there's a lot to see there. And it's a very, the culture is just, it's a lot for some people, it's, you have to adapt.
Is it similar? Is it similar to like is Saudi Arabia similar to like New Delhi? Just very compact, a lot of people, or is more so, a little bit more low key based on what you said, because a lot of people don't go there. Did you see any tourists while you was there?
I did. Um, I did, but it wasn't a lot. Well, it's interesting, right? Because Saudi Arabia actually, like in certain, no, I don't know if that's true. I don't know if that's true, but there are a lot of expats in Saudi Arabia,
Wow.
especially places like Pakistan, from like Egypt, Bangladesh. Uh, so there are a lot of expats, and a lot of people go there for work. But tourists who are there just for fun, I don't think there's a lot of that. But I've seen some. But I mean, there's always international visitors because people are doing Umrah, doing Hajj, or just exploring the region. So they have it, but I think they want more to come to visit.
Speaking of that, just pause it for a second, man. Shout out to the bearded backpacker. I had him on as well. He's actually planning to go to Pakistan and some other surrounding countries around Pakistan for a month. And I had to pause. I was like, brother, you sure? And we
Oh.
and we not gonna speak on it just very briefly.
Mhm.
To all the families that was affected by 9/11. My hearts go out to you. And also I want to say this too, the opposite of that, right? Because I just don't want to blast out that rhetoric without saying this is that, and I think you would agree with this. We
Mhm.
can't take a group of people that that happened hell a long time ago and just mirage that over an entire country like that country is just bad.
Mhm.
Based on that one experience with a group of people that wanted to do bad to other people. And I
Mhm.
think you would agree that as much as you travel, you've been to 31 countries and counting, is that everywhere you go, for I'm speaking for myself as well, 99% of the time, there is good people.
Yeah.
It's always that 1%, right? So we
Mhm.
can't focus on that. So I just wanted to share that as well,
Yeah.
because you mentioned Pakistan as well. So I just wanted to share that. You can't focus on that. You just gotta, obviously be smart, trust your gut.
Mhm.
Obviously have a little bit of street smarts as well when you're out there, but it's nothing to focus on. Don't take a certain group or experience and then just tarnish the whole country and like the whole country's like that. I'll give you a prime example. I got on this hat. Good old Colombia. That's my favorite country. My favorite.
Mhm.
But if you look at that country, a lot of people still afraid to travel there. They still thinking about, Pablo and the Cali cartel and all these different things. And yes, do people get drugged and robbed? Yes, just like they get drugged and robbed in New Orleans, just like they get drugged and robbed in New York. You know what I'm saying? On a daily basis. You know what I'm saying? So you just gotta go, experience the world and travel and get out there. So I'm sorry, I just had to share that. I
Oh,
just had to share
100%
that.
agree. 100%
Yeah.
agree.
I just had to share that. So let's dive in. So what's some activities that you did in Saudi Arabia?
Um, what else did I do in Saudi Arabia? I mean, I definitely did a lot of shopping. Again, this was more like a religious trip. So like I went to Mecca, I went to Medina, I visited a few different masjids in Jeddah. Um, um, I went to like the old town, and it was so crazy because like in the middle of Jeddah, there was literally like half a block full of artwork celebrating Cassius Clay, what's his Muhammad Ali.
Come on.
I am so serious. Like I'm just walking down the block. I look, there's like all these pictures of Muhammad Ali and like art. And I was just like, this is in Saudi Arabia. You know, it was just beautiful. I mean, you don't even know who's looking at you. You know what I mean? You most people don't think that there's someone in Saudi Arabia celebrating Muhammad Ali, but yeah, it's happening. You know,
Wow.
I mean, there's so many like family friendly events, I mean, activities to do there. So there's like lots of good restaurants. Um, you know, the like Jeddah is right at the water. So there's like a masjid that's like a mosque that's like right on the coast. So it's just beautiful. Um, but yeah, I think that Saudi is still in its early stages of tourism. So I think I need a redo for sure.
No, no, definitely. And as a former collegiate athlete, I can
Hmm.
tell you that that country is up and coming. It's up and coming.
Yeah.
It's absolutely amazing. How did you go? But I just want to talk about the navigation for people
Okay.
that don't know. Some countries, have Uber. Some countries you got to come out of pocket with a taxi. How did you navigate like through the country from the airport to where you needed to go? How did you navigate through that?
I've used Uber a lot. I visited about three different cities, so I was able to use Uber sometimes, and then sometimes they actually have like this train. It's like a high speed train that took us through the desert, and it was very beautiful. I mean, it was, it was beautiful. It was fast. It was clean. Um, yeah, so it was easy to get around. Uber was available in most major cities.
Gotcha. And speaking of, I get religion and customs.
Hmm.
How do you go about let's say if you wasn't a Muslim, right? Um, how do you go about like learning about the culture before you get there? The certain customs that a woman is supposed to wear a certain material of clothing. Also, men in certain countries. How do you find that information? How do you go about like what's your way of getting there before you actually get there?
I mean, to me, that's like an exciting part of the trip, like going on YouTube, checking out videos of people who have visited those countries, checking out videos from locals to really get like, you know what I mean? Like that deep knowledge, blogs, podcasts, anything I can do. I love just learning as much as I can before I visit a destination.
Gotcha, gotcha. And for those that don't know, it's been a while since I shouted this out. For those that don't know, the U.S. government has a website, state.gov. You can actually go on that website and go to whatever country you want. It'll rank the levels between 1 to 4. Us being the people that we are, threes and fours, we still go. But hey, if you want to play on the safe side, ones and twos, it's slim pickings right now because you want to go to Central, South, or to these places that she's talking about. Sometimes the government and the media will make it seem like that country is so dangerous, right?
Mhm.
And when you get there, it's just like what they talking about. Like
Yeah. Hmm.
this is absolutely beautiful. The people are so welcoming.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, how did the people? And this don't have to be. It's not necessarily a Saudi Arabia question, but how
Okay.
have you been received? Or you know what? What's a better question? How do you immerse yourself in the culture? How do you, engulf yourself in the culture? Get the vibe with the locals a little bit more. How do you go about doing that? What's your thought process and strategies behind immersing yourself in any culture that you travel to?
Well, I love doing tours and activities. I'm mostly a solo traveler. So I really love doing the activities. And when I'm doing an activity, I try to uh, do it with someone who's local. Cooking classes for me is one of the best ways to really learn about a culture. You learn so much through a cooking class. Um, and yeah, I mean, I think, and walking tours by locals, things like that. Um, that's usually what I do. when I was younger, I would go out a lot and like make friends with people, and I've done that. I did that back in the day. Now, you know, I mostly just stick to the tours, the tour guides.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Gotcha.
Well,
I go down the
I'm lying.
unbeaten
I'm
path.
lying. I made friends with someone the last time I went to Egypt, so I'm lying. Okay.
Yeah, I go down the unbeaten path. I'm not gonna lie. Like this last trip to Colombia, man. Shout out to Savannah and Nick on their beautiful wedding in Cali, Colombia. They live there. They've been living
Mhm.
there for 2 years now. Shout out to them. The wedding was absolutely beautiful. And Cali, Colombia is also one of my favorite cities in Colombia. But one of the things that I did is I like to go to the local markets. I like to go where there is no most of the grounds are just mud, right? And you walking around and you got your food market, your fish market, you also got your other markets, but that's where I like to be amongst the people. It just gives me a sense of, letting the people know that hey, like, I may not be from here, but I can, I can get to know you. I can vibe with anybody, and that's what I like about it. Um, we gonna shift gears into a term that you call slow travel.
Okay.
And I wanted to dive into that. Can you explain what slow travel is and what does slow travel mean to you?
Okay. So first, I'm gonna say that I'm not shaming people who don't slow travel. Okay. When I talk about slow travel, I'm not saying that this is the best way, the only way to do it. I'm not saying that. I think you have to do what you have to do in whatever stage of life you're in. Okay. So for me, slow travel is about immersing yourself in the culture a little more. You know what I mean? It's about staying in one place or one region and exploring that, getting out of just the big cities and looking at the smaller cities, like you said, going to the local market, going to, figuring out which coffee shop is your favorite coffee shop in a new area. So it's really like you just staying somewhere for a longer period of time if you can, and just, I guess, connecting more with the location. And I think it's also about like sustainability. Yeah.
Hmm. I gotta ask you this too. As
Okay.
a content creator and as
Mhm.
a solo traveler, what are some of your strategies to capture content and enjoy your trip at the same time? For those inspiring influencers, and then for those like us that have
Mhm.
to figure out and navigate how to differentiate between the two and combine it together and have the time to shoot. Like, how do you go about? What's some of your strategies around content creation?
Um, I think one of the biggest things that has been like a game changer for me is really having a plan. Having a shot list. This is the photo that I want to take. This is what I'm wearing. These are the poses that I'm thinking about doing. This is some real ideas that I have, and having that in place before I even make it to the destination, so that I'm not just getting stressed out about what I need to do. Also, of course, having a good tripod, having something with a remote controller, you can't beat that. Um, and waking up early, I don't know if that's like too easy, but waking up early is really the no, it's really, you can't get away from it. When you wake up early, you can get the shots that you need because you're up early, so there's less people outside. Then it's like dawn. You know what I mean? You catch the sunrise. Um, you can do what you need to do. So yeah, I think those are my tips.
I'm gonna say this too. I am a little jealous of you. I'm not gonna cap.
Waking up early.
Nah, cause you living in a place where those deals are nice, man. And I'm over here in good old Nebraska right now, and I always gotta connect somewhere. Shout out to Eppifield Airport. I've been showing y'all a lot of love. Your boy is still traveling. It's a little
Oh,
bit more navigation now, but yeah, if y'all don't know, like I told you from the beginning of the episode, she is from New York, NYC. And if y'all don't know anything about JFK, those deals are absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing to go to these different countries. So just a little jealous. I still love you though. Still love
yeah.
you.
I understand. I understand.
But hey, So you've been. I seen some else. So you've been to Barbados. Let's talk about Barbados for a second.
Yeah.
Uh, how is it? Shout out to I think who's famous from Barbados. Rihanna, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Rihanna. So you went to Barbados. You went to the Caribbean,
Mm-hmm.
and how was that experience?
I love Barbados. I was like, wow, this is like they have a lot of stuff in. I don't know. It seems like it's developed in well as compared to other places. I don't. That sounds. I don't want to say it like that. Let me scratch that. I like Barbados. I think the beaches are beautiful. The people are really cool. You know, if you want to have fun, Barbados is a great place to have fun. Um, and I think a lot of digital nomads are checking out Barbados nowadays. I feel like it's expensive as compared to other places in the Caribbean. Um, the
What's
only
the current? What's the currency there?
I think it's Beijing dollars. I have to check. Let me check. I think it's Beijing dollars. Hold on.
And while she checking on that, the navigating part in Barbados as well. You able to use Uber as well in Barbados?
Honestly, I was in Barbados a few years ago, and I can't even remember if I used Uber. I think I mostly used like local taxis. But
Gotcha. Because a lot. Oh
yeah.
no, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, it was a few years ago, so I'm not sure. I'm not sure if things have changed, but when I was there, I used local taxis.
Yeah, because a lot of countries also have an app called InDriver. So
Oh, okay.
it's actually in 38 countries right now,
Oh, wow.
where you can set your own prices for what you're willing to pay the driver, and the driver accepts. So
That's
it's no BS. You know
that's
exactly what you're paying them, and you got to pay them in cash.
that's very
That's the only
interesting.
thing about InDriver. You got to pay them in cash
Oh,
whenever they accept it and they pick you up. You got to
mhm.
pay them in that currency in cash.
Okay, that's not
Yep.
bad. That's
So
not.
shout out to InDriver. I'm giving y'all some free publicity right now. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? But if you come across the podcast, you show your boy some love, you want to sponsor the episode, you just get with me. But yeah, you was able to find that currency?
Um, you know what? I don't know why I quit. Yeah, it says Barbadian dollars. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
The one thing I uh
Some money, we could talk about this too. Some money I feel like is just so pretty, you don't
you
even want
don't
to spend it.
get it. Yeah.
You been to Costa Rica?
I have. Yeah.
Do you see their money? I'm like, oh my God, I don't even want to spend it. I don't even
Yeah.
want to spend it. Like, it's beautiful. It's like, look at this. Why would I want to spend this money? You
No.
know,
Yeah. No, for
it's
real.
great. Got the
Mm-hmm.
animals on it.
Birds. It's just
Colombia got some nice currency too as well. But
I've never
like
seen.
Costa Rica was like top notch.
Okay. The one thing though I will say about Barbados, and I saw this on Threads a while ago, and I had to agree, is the food. The Barbados is just not the best place I think in the Caribbean for food.
Mm.
But beautiful beaches, seriously, beautiful beaches and good parties, good music, lots of good soca music coming from Barbados.
Well, let's shift gears. You talking about beaches? Let's shift gears and talk about your love for the ocean. It's a
Yes.
few things I want to ask you.
Okay.
Where did your love for the ocean come from? And then we're
Okay.
gonna dive into scuba diving and some other activities that you like to participate in when it comes to ocean activity.
Yeah, I don't know. Again, I just feel like I've always loved the ocean. I've always loved the water. Like I said, my father's from Antigua, my mother from Louisiana, and we from in Louisiana, the part that's next to like a lake. So I've always been a water baby. And then I just need to make a correction. You said that I think I'm a mermaid. No, I am a certified patty mermaid, sir. Okay. Thank you.
Excuse me, ma'am. Excuse me. Certified mermaid.
Certified
Correction.
patty.
Correction.
Advanced
Public service
mermaid.
announcement.
Advanced.
Certified mermaid.
Mm.
Ah. So let's dive. What made you want to get into scuba diving? Like, let's get into this.
Um, I mean, really and truly, like I said, I've always loved the ocean. Um, but I had some tragedy going on about about 4 years ago. And I dealt with, like, I was trying to work through my grief, and my therapist was like, why don't you go back to things that you loved to do when you were younger and just do it now, to like help you. So I always loved swimming. So, and I've always wanted to become a scuba diver. And yeah, I finally went out and I got my certification. And I actually got certified in Costa Rica.
Come on.
Yeah.
What was the steps? What was the steps to that? To
Um,
get a cert for those that are interested,
yeah, so first, you pay for a class. The class is online. I mean, you pay everything, I think, at one time. It depends. So I paid for my class, and then it's like a e-learning thing. You learn about scuba diving, you learn about everything you need to know about it, and then you do a pool session, and then you do an ocean session. So based on the things that you learned through the e-learning, you put it to test um, at the pool, in the pool, with a certified instructor, and they teach you like how to use all your gear, and like safety maneuvers, and just like everything you need to know about scuba diving in the ocean. And then once you pass that part, then you actually go out into the ocean, and you have to make they test you to make sure you know everything. And if you pass, then you're a scuba diver, open water scuba diver.
Wow. So in your dives, like
Mhm.
first of all, for me, I forgot what it's called, but some people got a phobia of the ocean. I forgot what it's called, the condition. Anyway, but when it comes to school, cause I'm interested as well.
Okay.
Uh, but my thing is like getting down there and seeing the big ass shadow in the distance. That might creep me out. That might creep me out.
Well, I mean, I think the cool thing to remember is that, like, animals aren't really checking for humans like that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, they're actually afraid of us. Seriously. I mean, things happen. Sometimes, things happen. But there's a lot of people who scuba dive, and we don't really have a lot of shark attacks. We
Mm,
don't really have a lot of attacks on scuba divers. Most people, when they do get hurt while scuba diving, it's usually due to like heart attack. It has nothing to do with you scuba diving. It's just about your health.
mm,
So animals really aren't really checking for us like that. Seriously, like I've seen sharks run away from humans.
wow. Okay. Miss Certified Mermaid. Let's dive into that, ma'am.
Yes, yes. I'm very proud about being a PADI advanced mermaid. It's similar to becoming a scuba diver. You have to do your e-learning. I went through PADI. They're different schools, but I went to PADI. You do your e-learning, and then you go into the pool to test and make sure you know how to do, how to do your dolphin kicks. You know how to save your partner. You know how to pose underwater. And then you go out into the ocean or a bigger body of water, and you show your instructor, and then if you pass, you become a mermaid, a certified mermaid.
All right.
And at this
Man,
point, I gotta be honest with you, I love mermaiding more than I love scuba diving at this point. Seriously.
why?
Um, First off, mermaiding is like it's like an art form. You know what I mean? You can get dressed, you can put on your makeup, make sure you have a nice little seashell bra and a beautiful tail, and you know what I mean? It's an experience. It's fun, you know? Um and also I think it's just more accessible. When you do scuba diving, you have to okay, a lot of scuba dive it's a very tight schedule, and yeah, but mermaiding, you can even do that from the shore. So you don't even yeah, I mean you can scuba dive from the shore. But anyway, mermaiding is more fun to me.
Speaking of schedules, the way you travel, are you more so of an itinerary person, or you just go with the flow?
I am like go with the flow, but I need like a loose plan. I need a loose plan. But I like to go with the flow. Like I don't like to plan everything to the moment. No.
Gotcha. You got a favorite airline? You
Do
got
I
a
have
dedicated airline? Do you have a dedicated airline that you accumulate points, or you more so just whoever's got the best deal?
right now I'm with United, but um I think I might want to become a Delta girl because everybody that's with Delta, they're always happy. So I think that's where I'm headed. I
It's the
think.
cookie. It's the Delta cookie. It's the cookie. Shout out to Delta. Shout out to the United. I actually flew United. That was my first time flying United to Colombia because Cali is not a very besides Petronia. For those who don't know, I will share this though. Petronia is always the uh, second week in August. And it's where Afro Colombians come from Buenaventura, from Quibdó. And it's a huge festival. Actually, Prince what's his name? He denounced the royalty. Him and his wife.
William?
Uh, it,
No,
Prince Harry or Prince William.
I don't know. Okay, one of them.
But they was there. They tell you how big it was. They tell you how big it was.
And when
You
is that
know,
again?
it's always the second week of August. And
Oh,
I
wow.
got something in the works that I gotta tell you once we wrap up this episode, man. I got a little
Excited.
something in my pocket for next year. A little something.
Okay.
A little something. But let's talk about some go to apps. We talked about airlines. Do you have go to
Mhm.
apps that you use when you're in the country? Any go to apps? Obviously, the first one that a lot of people need to know is that if you don't know the language, Google Translate has an offline version
Oh, yeah.
where you can download the offline version. Even if you don't have service, you can still use it. I also recommend the offline version of Google Maps.
Mhm.
Download the offline version of Google Maps so you don't get lost. And I also recommend you do what you want. Send your location to at least 4 to 5 people that you trust, just in case some shit go down.
Yeah.
And that's
No.
facts.
Yeah. No, seriously, that's a must. That's a must.
That's facts. Any other apps that you use when you're out and about?
Um, I'm still using. Well, I like to use Google Maps for the food reviews too. Um, um, I like Duolingo to learn languages. I mean, they don't have
Yeah, I
everything.
use it. You know what? We gotta set up a friend streak. I got a few friend streaks going on with some
What?
people.
Okay, I'm gonna add you.
En
I'm gonna add you.
español.
I'm gonna add you.
Si yo hablas español, tú dime yo en practicar español. Tú dime.
Oh,
Sí, claro. Sí,
oh,
claro que sí.
okay. You're in Colombia. I see it.
Yeah, I
Oh,
do my thing last video, but yeah, we got to set that up. Yeah, I
yeah.
like Duolingo too, man. A lot of people don't like it because, first and foremost, you trying to learn the language, guys. You got to start from the basics. You got to know vocabulary. That's what Duolingo teaches you is vocabulary. Shout out
Yep.
to Duolingo. Before you know it, they'll be a sponsor as well. Shout out to them as
Yep.
well. Free publicity this time, Duolingo. This time, this time. But we gonna talk. We gonna talk.
Yep. What else? Of course, get your guide, uh, Viator for activities, Airbnb activities. I like Airbnb. I'm sorry, Airbnb experiences too.
Yeah,
They
they
have a
all
lot
dope.
of good. Yeah,
Yeah,
I love Airbnb experiences. Um, Currency exchange, man, that's a must. You don't want to get got out there.
Ooh, where they get over on you quick,
Sir, for real,
quick.
for real. Um, what else? Google Voice. Oh, WhatsApp. WhatsApp. For those international calls. Yeah, those are the apps that I usually always have. And then wherever I'm going, I always look up before I get there. I always start downloading my apps while I'm still in America. That's a big tip because a lot of these places, like I went to Cote d'Ivoire and I wanted to order food and I couldn't do it because they have to send you a text to your phone and I didn't
Yep.
have the messaging. So it was so anyway, download that before you get there for sure.
For sure, for sure, for sure, for sure. I think like for the people like some like the last like the message that you want to share to people like for those that I want to always ask this question to every guest. For
Hmm.
those people that are on the fence, that are don't come from that family background of people that traveled or even explored or thought bigger. People that's on the fence about exploring, whether it be domestically or internationally. What can you tell them to help them, some words of encouragement to help them get off that fence and just take that leap of faith?
I mean, you really only live once, and you can't. You really have to live for yourself. You can't sit here and plan for other people. You can't wait for somebody else. You can't. I mean, sometimes you can't even wait for the perfect time. And never let anybody else shame you. I said that earlier. Right now, I don't want to do hostels because I'm in a place in my life where I don't have to do hostels. Thank God. Not no shade. I'm really not trying to be shady. But when I was younger, I did the hostels. I did 4 in a hotel in Miami with my friends. You know what I'm saying? Like whatever you have to do to get there, do it, and don't let anyone shame you for that. You know what I mean? However that looks like. Don't let anyone shame you because you're going to a place that people say, is everyone's going to. Don't worry about that. Really just focus on doing what makes you happy. That would just
Right.
be.
Wow. Absolutely amazing. For those that hit it, look, if y'all didn't get gems from this episode, y'all capping. Y'all capping big time. Big time. I want to take this time, Meeka,
Mhm.
to go ahead on and give your opportunity to all your information is going to be on the show notes, but I just also want to give this opportunity so you can have the platform to blast out all your social handles. How can we follow you? How can we support you? Your businesses as well, ways for us to support you in the future.
Yeah, well, definitely check out if you're interested in castles, pretty dresses, just fairy tale destinations and the magical side of traveling. Then definitely check me out on the Wandering Afro. And if you're interested in wellness and really taking care of your mind, body, and spirit, then definitely check out my shop, The Goddess Shop. That's how I fund my trips. So please check it out.
And all our information is going to be in the show notes. I got y'all. Make sure y'all go follow you, go support this amazing, just human being. Let's just start off from there. Just this amazing human being. She shines so much light into the world. And, again, I just want to give you your flowers. I really do appreciate you for coming on. I got to be petty, y'all. It's been long overdue. I've been trying to get it for a year. But, timing is everything. Timing is everything. Things happen. This time is the right time. But
It-
honestly, all jokes aside, I'm so glad I got you on. And I'm so glad that you was able to share some of your experiences and looking forward to collaborating with you on other projects in the future as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Y'all know my motto. I'll see you at the top because the bottom is just too crowded. Peace.